The two are good to can. Hello, uh, good Thursday, and I will read about what in reunion we read to. Um, the chapter from uh, Gospel from Matthews, chapter 5, verse 4 and 4:6 until 4:8. The characteristics of perfection. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who persecute and slander you. For if you love only those who love you, what reward will you have? Don't the publicans do the same? Really, uh, the if you greet all your brothers, what are you doing that is more than what others do? Don't the pagans also do the same? Pagans make this: love who loves him, and the religious men that follow gospel must make different. Since God possesses infinite perfection in all these things, the maxim, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, if taken literally, would presuppose the possibility of attaining absolute perfection. If it were given to the Creator to be as perfect as the Creator, the former would become equal to the latter, which is inadmissible. However, the people to whom Jesus spoke would not have understood this nuance. He limited himself to presenting them with a model and told them to put forth the effort to emulate it. One must therefore understand these words to mean a relative perfection which humanity is able to achieve and which brings it closest to divinity. Achieve. What does such perfection consist of? Jesus said to love our enemies, to good to those who hate us, and to pray for those who persecute us. Okay? It is in this way he shows that the essence of perfection is charity in its broadest definition, because it entails the practice of all other virtues. In fact, by observing the results of all vices and even the simplest defects, one will realize that there isn't one of them that doesn't alter the sentiment of charity to some degree, because they all have their origin in selfishness and pride, which are the opposites of charity. This is because everything that overexcites the sentiment of personality destroys or at least weakens the elements of true charity. Benevolence, indulgence, self-denial, and devotion, taking so far as to loving one's enemies. Love for one's neighbor cannot ally itself with any defect contrary to charity, and therefore is always an indication of a greater or lesser moral ascendance. Hence it follows that the degree of perfection is in indirect proportion to the range of such love. This is why Jesus, after having given his disciples the guidelines of the most sublime charity, said to them, "Therefore be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect." And this was an explanation to this point, be perfect. And now I will read what had fall in reunion. What test? Parable of the sower. The Spirit's teaching. Virtue? No. Superiors and subordinates? No. The individual in the world. A sentiment of compassion must always animate the hearts of those who gather under the Lord's side to implore the assistance of good spirits. Therefore, purify your heart. Don't let any mundane or futility thought linger in it. Lift up your spirit to those who are calling, so that finding in you the proper dispositions, they may profusely sow the seed that should germinate in your soul. Sow the seed that should germinate in your soul and produce within it the fruit of charity and justice, and produce within it the fruit of charity and justice. Therefore, don't think that it's incessantly exhorting you to prayer and mental evocation all time. We wish to advise, we is high spirits, wish to advise you to live a mystic life that keeps you outside the laws of the society and which you have been condemned to live. Condemned to live. We are. Accept or no is this. No. Live with the men and women of your time in the way that men and women should live. Observe the social necessities, even the frivolities of the day, but do it with a sentiment of purity which may sanctify them. You have been called, example, if you love your partner, your husband, your wife, all enter you, it's good. Love, it's good, but if enter you have only disinterest, it don't have never purify. Only if have love enter two persons. You have been called to enter into contact with spirits of different natures and opposite characters. Don't clash with any of those with whom you might find yourself. Be cheerful and happy, but of the cheerfulness provided by a clear conscience, and the happiness of the heirs of heaven, counting the days that will draw them nearer to their inheritance. Virtue doesn't consist in assuming a stern and gloomy face, or in rejecting the pleasures that your human conditions allow. God give us this life, this way, but we must have love in our relationships to turn this purify. Love in family principle, and love other, not how love a friend, but love with respect to other. No make bad to other because you don't like he made bad for you. This is love. 2. Virtue doesn't consist in assuming a stern and gloomy face, or in rejecting the pleasures that your human conditions allow. It's sufficient to report all the actions of your life to the Creator, who has given such life. Who has given such life. It's sufficient when begins or finishes a deed, to lift one dot to that Creator, and to ask Him, in an impulse of the soul, to grant His watch care for carrying it out, and to grant His blessing for finishing it. And start and finish. Ask God. Start. And ask God to help to all things will be good in this work we start. And finishing, we blessing all good things. To grant His blessing for finishing it. In all that you do, look to the source of all things. Don't do anything without the thought of God purifying and sanctifying your acts. It's necessary. Because this way will have wisdom to make, to choose things right or wrong, or don't make wrong. Think about people that make scramble or destructive things in life. Ask him if him asks God. Probably no. Continue here. In all that you do, look to the source of all things. Don't do anything without the thought of God purifying and sanctifying your acts. As Christ said, perfection is found entirely in the practice of absolute charity. But the duties of charity extend to all social positions, from the lowest to the highest. Those who live in isolation would have no charity to practice. It's only through contact with their fellow beings in the most arduous struggles that they find an opportunity to practice it. Thus, those who isolate themselves intentionally, deprive themselves of the most powerful means of perfection, since they have only themselves to think of. Their lives are those of a selfish person. See chapter 5, number 26. Don't imagine, therefore, that in order to live in constant communication with us, high spirits, to live in the Lord's sight, that you must put on the seals and cover yourselves with ashes. No, no, no. And once more, no. Be happy in accordance with the needs of humankind, in accordance with needs of humankind. And God ever give for people in the world, not for one bit group, the true is in a word, the wisdom is in a word, all word. God don't have wisdom and truth only to a bit group. Don't, never God make this. God is reality democratic, and wisdom is in this phrase. The people is the voice of the Lord, because the Lord make distribution to the wisdom for all in this planet, not a various bits groups, and use good sense ever to analyze what people in earth bit groups are this construction, trying this construction, the truth. It's impossible, because in wisdom of God, He distributes equality, the wisdom for all people, and not one big group. Be happy in accordance with the needs of humankind, but may your happiness never hold a thought or commit an action to might offend God, or anything that might clothe the face of those who love and guide you. God is love, and He blesses all those who love virtuously. Virtuously. Don't imagine, therefore, that in order to live in constant communication with us, to live in the Lord's side, that you must put on the seals and cover yourselves with ashes. A protector spirit give us this message, and Bordeaux, France, 1863 is the year. 1863, from various mediums in a world that Kardec worked with them, and all day in various so far parts in the world, each other. They don't had communication each other, and Kardec received the message, the same message, from various mediums distributed in a word. Okay, it's one of those serious criteria, scientific criteria that Kardec had. to make all this work. I hope you have a great final week, and God bless all you. Until the next.